Yeah. This is your boy, Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm always grateful to be in the presence of the people, man. You can't take it for granted. I always start the show out the same. Got to start it out with gratitude. Got to start it out with love. Got to start it out with just being completely grateful for being on this planet Earth. And you guys have so many options out there. You guys are rocking with me time and time again. It's been a long weekend for me, especially, but I'm just glad that you guys are here on a Tuesday evening. Some of you guys are probably on your way home from work. Some of you guys are probably, how do you say, slow down a little, man. Some of you guys are probably on your way home from work. Some of you guys are probably, how do you say, going in to your late night shift at work. There's so many other ways to break it down, but I'm just grateful that you guys are here with me. And I can't take that kind of support for granted because, again, I'm nothing without the people. And the people make this show go around. So we got a lot to talk about. I was shocked over the weekend. Me personally, I was shocked. But before I get into what I was shocked about, I need you guys to smash that like button. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys continue to share. Make sure you guys continue to comment. My X family, my Twitter family, my YouTube family, you guys are amazing. So make sure you guys continue to stay locked in on the content. That's an absolute fact. Now, I want to get right to it. Shout out to my man Brian Grant, KGK, Philly Flyover. What's going on? I want to get right to it. You guys, I'm at a loss for words. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles had some breaking news over the weekend. DeVante Parker, who potentially was competing for the Eagles wide receiver 3 spot, DeVante Parker decided to call it quits over the weekend. And I kind of don't even want to frame it as calling it quits because it's such a negative connotation around the word quit. And I don't want to make it seem like I'm being insensitive to his situation. I don't want to make it seem like I'm just only for the team, only for the cause. This is a people business at the end of the day. This is a people business at the end of the day. And the only way it gets through, the only way this thing works is if the people are all on one accord. And it seemed like DeVante Parker really wasn't on that accord with the Philadelphia Eagles. It seemed like he had a come to Jesus moment. He had a come to Jesus moment. DeVante Parker decided to retire over the weekend. Spent 9 years in the NFL. Has been a productive player. Let's not pretend like DeVante Parker was chopped liver. He was a productive player throughout his career. Some seasons were better than others. Only really had 1 1,000-yard season in his career, but still a player that you feel like you can trust, right? If you feel like you can trust DeVante Parker, but he's battled some things throughout his career, be it injury, be it being cut by certain teams like the Dolphins or the Patriots. So when you think about everything he's been through in his short career, I can understand why a guy like that would say to himself, I just don't have it. I don't have that fire. I don't have that motivation like I thought I did. And to be quite honest with you, I'm actually okay with that. I'm entirely okay with someone deciding what's for them and what's not for them. DeVante Parker had to look at himself in the mirror and say, is this what I want? Do I still have the drive? Do I still have the passion? Can I see myself getting up Monday through Saturday, be it for OTAs, training camp, the preseason, practice every single week? Do I still have that itch? Do I still have that fervor to compete? And for some guys, it dissipates sooner than others. And DeVante Parker has had a plethora of injuries. He's torn things. He's broken things, strained things. DeVante Parker has had a tumultuous career when it comes to his health. He was drafted in the first round by the Miami Dolphins, and he played well enough for the Dolphins to get an extension with them, but they ultimately decided to go in a different direction, and he played with the Patriots. Didn't really make the biggest impact there, but still put numbers on the board, even if they were mediocre. He put numbers on the board despite how minuscule they may have been. But I'm not saying this to down DeVante Parker. I promise you, I'm not trying to give him some backhanded victory lap. I promise you I'm not. I'm trying to be as sensitive to this as possible, because his reasoning behind retiring was something I can understand. I can understand a man wanting to prioritize his family. I know I have been. I can understand a man saying, you know what? I got four young ones at home. I done gave football so much of my life, so much of my time, so much of my body, so much of my blood, sweat, and tears. It's time for me to return the favor to them. It's time for me to return the favor to my loved ones. You dig me? So I can't fault DeVante Parker for choosing him over the game. I can't get mad at DeVante Parker for choosing his own life over the game of football. I can't fault him. When you're in the NFL for 9 years and you earn roughly $57 million and you actually do right with your cash, sometimes it's best to get out of the casino while you still got the money rolling. While you still got the upper hand. Sometimes it's good to get out of the casino. And sometimes you see guys playing so deep into their careers, you got to ask yourself, damn, what is it really about? Is it strictly about the competition? Is it about the money? What is it? Guys just chasing that paycheck. I don't want to put every player into that bucket of, oh, they chasing the paycheck. If you love the game and you find a team that's willing to pay you, hey, by all means. But DeVante Parker said, you know what? I got what I needed out of this game. I've been able to change my family's life. I've been able to change my own life. I've been able to retire family members. I've been able to travel to see places and do things I never thought I would have been able to do. So I can't fault a man for knowing when to put his hand down and get out of the casino and cash his chips in. On top of that, still has guaranteed money coming from the Patriots. Remember, the Patriots owe him money. Hence why the Eagles only got him for a veteran minimum deal. So he still has another paycheck coming. Not mad at it. Not mad at players getting whatever they can from the NFL. Not mad at it. But every now and again, you question the guys who play too long, especially when you're like, oh, man, looks a little rough out there. But DeVante Parker spent 9 years, dedicated 9 years to the pro game, dedicated years to the college game, spent his entire life getting to this point. I'm not mad at him for getting out of the casino, wanting to dedicate his time to his family. I'm not mad at it not one bit. And I'm glad he did it when he did it instead of waiting until the preseason or midway through the regular season. I'm glad he made his decision sooner rather than later, which gives the Philadelphia Eagles time to figure out their game plan for the wide receiver 3 position, because the wide receiver 3 position at this rate, and even when DeVante Parker was in the building, the wide receiver 3 position is entirely up for grabs. You have guys in the building like a Paris Campbell who wants that wide receiver 3 role, a guy who's looking to prove he can play this game at a high level. You have Johnny Wilson, wide receiver drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles out of Florida State. He's a guy looking to prove that, hey, I don't care what they say about my hands. I can play this game, and I can play the game very well. You have Anias Smith, the little engine that could, the little engine that would, the little engine that should. I like to call him Mr. Do Everything, Mr. All Purpose, hustle brother. Anias Smith, his game reminds me of the OG that walks into the barbershop and says, hey, I got CDs, DVDs, socks, food stamps. I got Timbs in the trunk. I got Jordans in the trunk too. It don't matter if they fake or not. He got it. Hey, I cut grass too. So Anias Smith, not mad at it. I like the competition that's brewing in the building. I like the vibes. I like the energy. Wide receiver 3, wide open. Who won it? Go get it. The brothers that's still on the roster, they trying to fight for theirs. DeVante Parker said, you know what? I got mine. I'm going to catch a flight. I got mine. And this is where we are. So I know my man S. Blunt says, damn, I wish he would have done it before the draft. But the Eagles still looked at that wide receiver 3 position and said, you know what? DeVante Parker, Paris Campbell, whoever we got from the practice squad, is not going to cut it. So therefore, I'm drafting Anias Smith. I'm drafting Johnny Wilson. So although my man S. Blunt preferred that they would have, or he would have made his decision prior to the draft, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Sometimes you don't know what you have left until it's put to the test. And I'm willing to bet when that brother got the OTAs and was going through all the various motions of installing the playbook and learning his job and all that kind of stuff, and just looking at the competition, I'm pretty sure he said to himself, you know what? I don't love this game as much as I thought I did. Not anymore, at least. So I can't fault him. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles still, despite him waiting until after the draft, I believe the Philadelphia Eagles still hedged their bet. Again, you drafted Johnny Wilson, I believe in the 6th round, if I'm not mistaken. I think. I don't want to get that wrong here. And you drafted Anias Smith before him. So when you put it in perspective, Anias Smith, 5th round pick, Johnny Wilson, 6th round pick. So although, again, he didn't do it prior to the draft, I still felt like the Philadelphia Eagles hedged their bet, and I still feel like they have an opportunity to add to that room if they so choose. But I would love to see what they have in a guy like Anias Smith. I would love to see what they have in a guy like Johnny Wilson. Now, Johnny Wilson, in my humble opinion, his build, where he's been used in college, I don't believe he's a natural slot receiver. Now, obviously, he wants a job and he wants to be on the grass. He wants to be playing every Sunday. So he's going to do whatever it takes to prove that he can play in the slot. But I don't know if that's I don't know if that's natural to him. But Anias Smith, that's a player who has thrived in the slot. He's kind of like your prototypical slot receiver, small guy, stocky, shifty, can do it all, punt return, kick return, confidence through the roof. That's the thing that stood out to me about Anias Smith when they drafted him, right? What I read on him was his confidence is insane. And when I saw what Steve Smith said about him, I'm like, okay, I trust future Hall of Famer Steve Smith Sr.'s word when it comes to the wide receiver position. Now, listen to this. I'm not the biggest Cooper Kupp fan. I'm also not down on him either. But Steve Smith was one of the only people that jumped out on the cliff and said, hey, Cooper Kupp, he might be the best player in that draft. He might be the best player in his draft class at the wide receiver position. That's what Steve Smith said. A lot of people laughed him out the door. Steve Smith was like, I'm telling you, Cooper Kupp is the guy. And Cooper Kupp has shown that he can play in this league at a very, very high level. Very high level. So therefore, and he's a Super Bowl champion, Triple Crown guy. Looks like Steve Smith Sr. was right. Can he be right about Anias Smith? Can Anias Smith prove to be a legitimate contributor on the Philadelphia Eagles offense, playing in between A.J. Brown and DeVante Smith? I think the Philadelphia Eagles, pending if Anias Smith heals up properly, he is dealing with a stress fracture, I believe, in his foot or his leg or something like that. He's recovering from that. So he hasn't really participated in any on-field activities. But he should be ready by week 1. But if he shows something, maybe in the preseason, that the Philadelphia Eagles feel like, hey, we can use this. We can weaponize this. We may got one in Anias Smith. Still so much left to be proven, though. But there's so many position battles going on across the Philadelphia Eagles grass. So many position battles all across the board. You got position battles at linebacker. You got position battles at right guard. Hell, wide receiver 3, safety, nickel corner. There's so much competition just going crazy through the building. So overall, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are in a very good position in terms of they have a lot of talent to work with. But can they maximize the talent? Can Kellen Moore find a way to maximize this roster, in particular, develop the young guys like an Anias Smith? Can Aaron Moorhead help refine a guy like Johnny Wilson? Paris Campbell, can he have a resurgence? He's a pretty fast guy, a very fearless guy when it comes to catching the ball, especially in the middle of the field. So Paris Campbell, Anias Smith, Johnny Wilson, you got a big brolic dude in Johnny Wilson. You got Anias Smith and Paris Campbell who are fearless. This is going to be exciting. Darius Slay is going to push those brothers. Quinyon Mitchell is going to push those brothers. Even James Bradbury is going to push those brothers. Cooper DeJean going to push those brothers. Everybody's fighting for something. And nothing is promised. So what are you going to do if it was you? Do you fight or flight? Do you look in the mirror and say, you know what? This is my shit. And I'm going to make sure they know it's my shit. And I'm going to make sure whoever behind me never see the grass ever in their life. Yeah, they're on the same team. Everybody wants the best for everybody, so they say. But this is the NFL. It's kill or be killed. It's dog eat dog. I got to feed my family, son. This is all I know. I gave everything to this game. This is all I know. Not everybody can be as fortunate as DeVante Parker to have a 9-year career, have $57 million in the bank, and say, you know what? I'm out. Paris Campbell can't do that. Much younger player. But Paris Campbell can't do that. He can't say, you know what? I got what I needed from this game. I'm good. Can't do that. Johnny Wilson and Anias Smith, they rookies. Granted, the money is guaranteed, but they can't do that. A lot of guys on this team, all they got is this game. All they know is this game. So they'll be damned to let somebody take food, not just out of their mouths, but off their kids' plate. Are you kidding me? The off season is what it's all about. But don't get it twisted, Michael DeJean. Don't get it twisted. You're absolutely right. They should consider signing another receiver, bringing in more competition. Granted, there are a lot of receivers on this roster right now, but who's to say you can't have more? Excluding DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown, you have Brian Covey, Paris Campbell, Johnny Wilson, Anias Smith, Joseph Nagata, Austin Watkins Jr., Shaquan Davis, Jacob Harris. Some of those guys will never see the light of day. Some of those guys most of those guys won't even make this roster. Brian Covey, your spot is up for grabs too. Anias Smith, he coming for that. The only leg up you have on him is you had a pretty good season last year and you're more healthy right now. But when Anias Smith fully recovers from that stress fracture, Brian Covey, protect your bag. Protect your lunch. Because somebody looking to take food off your plate. I think Britton Covey has an infant or a baby girl. His wife, I believe, like he has a daughter. Britton Covey, can you take the next step in your development, not just as a return man, but also as a receiver? You're the oldest receiver on this roster, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Let me check Britton Covey's age. Britton Covey is 27 years old, born March 18th. A.J. Brown is 26. Paris Campbell, 26. DeVonte Smith, 25. Britton Covey is the oldest receiver on his roster. But guess what? You got some young guys in the building that's looking to earn it. So it's going to be exciting to see. It's going to be exciting. African Surf says, yo, bro, give John Ross a chance. John Ross, they don't even got this name on. They don't even got his name on the depth chart. Give John Ross a chance. A chance. I love you, African Surf. But his name isn't even on the depth chart. And you want me to give him a chance? I don't mean no harm, Mr. Ross. But I'm focusing on what I know. And as of right now, I'm focusing on the names that are on the roster, that are currently on the depth chart. John Ross has a lot of hurdles to jump before he can even say he has a spot on his team. But nonetheless, more competition, the better. I don't want to dismiss John Ross. Like you said, African Surf, give him a chance. Maybe he can prove me wrong. I'm not even trying to say he can't play. I'm just saying that, a lot of bodies to fight through. John Ross, you've been through a lot of your career. John Ross, you're a fast guy. Speed kills, but damn it, you got to actually be able to run routes and catch the ball. No disrespect. But I'm excited to see it all. I'm really excited. So I'm curious. Who could the Philadelphia Eagles target in free agency? Granted, it's slim pickings, but let's just look at some of the names right now. I'm seeing here on the free agent market, Hunter Renfrow, which I've heard there's rumors that the Philadelphia Eagles are maybe interested. I actually like what Hunter Renfrow did with the Raiders. I liked what he did with the Raiders. Michael Thomas, 31 years old, has battled injuries over the past few years of his career. What's his motivation like? What drives Michael Thomas? It all remains to be seen. He could run a hell of a slant route. Russell Gage, 28 years old. Could he be a target? Jamal Agnew, 29, former Jaguar receiver. McCall Hardman, 26, former Chiefs receiver. What does he have? Young guy, caught the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl last year, but I think they cut him for a reason, right? I can't remember what it was. He got in trouble, but they cut him. But overall, it's slim pickings when it comes to the wide receiver 3 spot as far as free agency goes. But I do like how many bullets the Philadelphia Eagles have put into the gun. The Philadelphia Eagles basically said, look, we're playing Russian roulette, and one of these damn bullets going to hit. The Eagles are playing Russian roulette right now with the wide receiver 3 spot. Here's the thing. I want to address what Infamous said. He said something interesting that I think deserves some credence. He says, why y'all acting like your wide receiver going to see the – he said, why y'all acting like your wide receiver 3 going to see the ball with all the weapons y'all have? It's not the point. It's not the point. You want to have somebody out there who's reliable. Somebody who, when the ball is thrown to him, he catches it. And that's what's been missing, Infamous. I know you're a Colts, Commanders, everything fan. I get it. I know you like everything bagels. I get it. But the wide receiver 3 spot has failed the Philadelphia Eagles over the past 2 years. Whenever they were thrown the rock, they were never ready. Quez Watkins was never ready. This is the NFL. Sometimes when you play your role, sometimes things might not happen, right? Let me put it to you like this, right? The Secret Service. Something ain't jumping off every day. The Secret Service, they don't get paid just to show up when shit go down. They get paid also to hold the line and to be ready when the number is called. So although the wide receiver 3 spot in Philadelphia has kind of been obsolete over the past 3 seasons, I'll give you that. I'm willing to argue it's been even more of a travesty because whenever you've tried to hit that person, they failed you. Hell, I trusted Zach Pascal more than I trusted Quez Watkins. Can I get an amen? Zach Pascal, at least he could block. At least he played with some confidence. At least he leaned in to his role. Quez Watkins still thought he could compete for reps with DeVante Smith and A.J. Brown on the roster. That man told us, I had a hard time adjusting to my new role. My G, A.J. Brown, DeVante Smith, you had a hard time adjusting? Who the hell you playing with? You had a hard time adjusting with A.J. Brown and DeVante Smith on your roster. We not dumb. We not stupid. Even my new puppy knew Quez Watkins, you are a peon to AJ Brown and DeVante Smith. Stop trying to play us like you really was out here trying to figure out this new role. You know, I was the wide receiver 2, or you know, all that kind of stuff. Now it's hard for bro. You barely were cemented into that spot. So I don't even want to. Infamous, yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was infamous. Olamide Zaccheaus actually gave me memorable moments throughout the regular season. He caught that amazing jump ball. Infamous, I can't answer that. I don't work for them. I wanted Olamide Zaccheaus here. I don't work for them, infamous. I can't tell you what. What are you saying? I don't work for them. I work for me. And I'm telling you, I am on record saying that I wanted the Philadelphia Eagles to retain Olamide Zaccheaus in some shape, way, or form. I'm on record on many platforms saying that at the time. But when it was clear they wasn't going to resign him, you know, it was all good. It was all good. So what you're not going to see from me is you're not going to see me all of a sudden saying Olamide Zaccheaus, nah, bum. You're not going to all of a sudden see me saying that because he played for the Commanders. No. I think that's a guy you got to watch because he has some speed. He does his job very well, and he has moments that he's had moments for the Philadelphia Eagles. But you know, when the Eagles signed DeVante Parker, when they signed Paris Campbell, I was like, okay, I think Paris Campbell has youth on his side. I think he has health on his side, and I think he has speed on his side. So I think DeVante Parker personally had an uphill climb anyway. But I'm curious to see what Paris Campbell does, if I'm being completely honest with you. As Blunt says, thoughts on Wilson playing in the wide receiver 4 role. See, here's the thing, right? Pascal, he wasn't even officially wide receiver 4. Like, I think it was based on matchups, right? Then, like, didn't the Philadelphia Eagles use Pascal and Quez Watkins interchangeably? Like, depending on the situation, depending on the matchups, depending on what they were trying to accomplish on any given play or sequence, I figured that Pascal and Quez were kind of rotating a bit to a degree. But Johnny Wilson, I know he's a big body, but can he block? Y'all tell me. I have to dig a little deeper on the scouting report, but can he block? I'm not going to say he can or can't. I'm willing to argue the Eagles trusted Pascal more. Actually, let me rephrase that. And thank you again, S. Blunt, for donating to the channel. You always show love, my guys. Always appreciate it. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the show. We're cooking here with fish grease. The position battles are heating up in Philadelphia, especially with DeVante Parker being moved out of the way. Paris Campbell, Anias Smith, Johnny Wilson, Joseph Nagata, Britton Covey, Austin Watkins Jr., Shaquan Davis, Jacob Harris, all competing for the wide receiver 3 spot. If we're being realistic, it's likely a 4-man race between Britton Covey, Paris Campbell, Johnny Wilson, and Anias Smith. Let's see here. Kyle Kokorski asked me a very interesting question. Shout out to Kyle. He says, Tone, what position on the defense worries you the most? Kyle, I have to say linebacker. Linebacker still is paramount amongst all the positions on the defensive side of the ball. Paramount in terms of my level of concern. Am I fascinated by what Devin White can provide? Absolutely. Am I down on Nakobe Dean right now? Absolutely. Does Jeremiah Trotter Jr. likely end up as a special teams guy, at least for the better half of the 2024 season? Absolutely. And I believe as of right now, Devin White and Nakobe Dean are considered or are currently projected to be the starters. Currently. But I think Zach Bond may have something to say about that. I know a lot of people, when I mention Zach Bond, a lot of you guys laugh. And I'm one of the only people willing to sit on this cliff and hang my feet and say Zach Bond is going to push Nakobe Dean. I believe that. He may push Devin White. I think Zach Bond is going to find his way on the field. I get it. A lot of you guys say Zach Bond. Who is he? What has he done? What has he done? I mean, when he got his opportunity with the Saints on the back end of the season, he was very productive. He was a stat sheet stuffer to a degree. He was active, played fast, rushed the passer, dropped back in coverage, had great lateral speed. I don't know. I have this feeling about Zach Bond. I feel like Zach Bond is going to give these cats a run for their money. And I don't get why some people are sleeping on that brother. Hoodie J, what's going on, my friend? Always grateful to see you. Make sure you guys smash that like button, of course. Hoodie J says, hear me out, Tone. Not just the name, but I like Trotter as our number 2 linebacker next to Devin White. Trotter reminds me of his dad. But remember Kaiser White from 2 years ago. Interesting comp. I'm not saying Jeremiah Trotter can't fight for a starting spot, but because he's going to have to learn it. I mean, everybody's learning this defense again, so that may help him. But although the Eagles drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr., I still think part of them wants Nakobe Dean to succeed. But at the same time, they're hedging their bet, and they're hedging it very well. You signed Devin White in the offseason. You signed Julian Okora in the offseason. You signed Zach Bond in the offseason. You signed Oren Burks in the offseason. These are all linebackers. You drafted Jalyx Hunt, a versatile edge rusher / off-ball linebacker with coverage ability. You drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr., an athletic, agile linebacker who has pedigree with his own college, respectively, who has the legacy on his side. You may be on to something, Hoodie J, but again, he has an uphill battle because he's a 5th-round pick. And Nakobe Dean is a 3rd. And Devin White is a former 1st. The competition is stiff. Wouldn't you agree? But overall, competition ain't never killed nobody. Unless you soft, of course. Or unless your name is Quez Watkins. I don't know. No disrespect. Infamous says, I'll never forget when Eagles fans, after Quez did that spin move against the Cardinals and took the screen to the crib, and we all thought he was going to be a real. Yeah, we all did. And that wasn't the. Oh, no. He actually had 2 plays. He had that play against the Steelers, I think, in the preseason. Then he had that play against the Cardinals in the regular season. So, yeah, Infamous. I was one of those people who fell for the old banana in the tailpipe trick. I was one of those people. I fell for it. We fell for it. We all did. Nobody better not lie in the building. Nobody better. If I catch you lying, Infamous gonna call you out. We all took the bait. Hook, line, and sinker. But guess what? That's old news. And I never, ever talk about my old work. I never, ever dwell in the past. Eagle Slayer says Quez did show flashes, to be fair. Being fair is acknowledging the flashes of good play, but also being fair is acknowledging the flashes of shitty play. So if we're going to acknowledge the good, we got to acknowledge the bad. He had more bad than good. I think we have to agree with that. You don't look the way you looked in that Cowboys game in the 2022 season. That's impossible. That can't happen. You can't get out muscled for the ball. You can't get knocked off of your route. You can't have the ball caught and then let a guy take it out of your fucking hands. Hit the weight room. Hit the jug machine, bucko. So, although he had flashes, his lowlights, in my humble opinion, far supersede his highlights. That's just me. But that's the past. And like I said to you guys earlier, I don't like to dwell on my old work. I am very curious to see what Anias Smith can bring to the table for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm very curious to see what Johnny Wilson can bring to the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to sit here and say either player is going to be great. I'm not going to say either player is going to be good. I'm just going to say I'm curious and I'm fascinated by their skill set and how the Philadelphia Eagles can potentially maximize it. And I'm curious to know what their ceilings could be. A guy like Johnny Wilson with those type of measurables and raw physical traits, if you can develop that and refine that, that can be a problem for the NFL. Anias Smith, if you can develop that, maximize that, use it the way you should, punt return, slot, whatever it may be. If you can maximize or somehow, some way access Anias Smith potential with the wide variety of his skill set and the confidence and fearlessness he plays with, that could be a very interesting slot player. He'll bring speed to the slot, confidence. I'm a firm believer that the slot position requires maybe the highest level of confidence out of the wide receiver positions because you're getting thrown into the mud. They asking you to make catches near these linebackers with these safeties coming downhill. this is not going to be easy. But I'm excited. I'm excited. It feels so good to be back with you guys because I had a long weekend. My mother was in town. She flew in from Philly, and it was really good to see her. Haven't seen her since January when damn near my entire immediate family came down. So my entire weekend was monopolized, catering to my mother. But also, my entire weekend was monopolized because I got a puppy, y'all. And my little man is the man. It's dope. I haven't had a dog in years. So it feels good to have another species running around the crib doing this thing. But it just feels good to be back. Friday was a hell of a day preparing for my mother. That's why we didn't go live on Friday. Had to drive to the airport to get my mom. Had to make sure the house was ready for her. Things of that nature. Rolando Durand, welcome to the show, my friend. He says, Tone, why aren't the Eagles looking at Hunter Renfrow for wide receiver 3? Who says they're not? Who says they're not? Because from what I'm reading, there is a chance the Philadelphia Eagles may be looking at the man you're talking about. Shout out to Eagles Today, Fan Nation, a Sports Illustrated Eagles blog. It says here the Eagles are linked to ex-Raiders Pro Bowler as option to replace DeVante Parker. What will the Eagles do to address the wide receiver position after losing Parker? Written by Patrick McAvoy 4 hours ago. Let's continue. Says here, the Philadelphia Eagles seem to be in a great spot right now, but could use another receiver before the 2024 season rolls around. Philadelphia got some surprising news on Monday night. As expected, number 3 receiver DeVante Parker announced that he is retiring after 9 seasons in the National Football League with the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. He signed with the Eagles this past offseason, but he will be hanging up his cleats. There already were some questions about the Eagles' receiver depth before the news of Parker's retirement, but now that it's an even more pressing question. Philadelphia currently is thin at receiver, but luckily there are some options out there in free agency who could help. One player who has been floated as an option for the Philadelphia Eagles is former Las Vegas Raiders Pro Bowler Hunter Renfrow, according to NBC Sports Philadelphia's Dave Zangaro. He says it's May, and there aren't many great options still available in free agency. But the Eagles did add Julio Jones last season in mid-October, so there's no deadline for adding players. A few notable names are still out there: Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas, and McCole Hardman. Perhaps Howie Roseman can figure out a way to work a trade. He has brought in players during training camp before, so that's another option. But maybe the Eagles will want to see what they have on the roster first before going that route. By the way, Hunter Renfrow is 28 years old. His numbers necessarily don't jump off the page the past 2 seasons, but he did have a 103 reception and 1,000-yard season in 2021 before superstar Davante Adams joined ahead of the 2022 season. So Renfrow has proven that he can be a productive player when given the opportunity. Fair enough. But I think I agree with Dave Zangaro. I think I agree with the fact that the Eagles should probably find out what they have. They should find out what they have first before they jump the gun. That's what I think they should do. So I think I agree with Davis and Girl. Find out what Paris Campbell can provide you. Find out what John Ross can potentially provide you. Can Anias Smith and Johnny Wilson catch on quick and prove that they're just a better option? Will these other guys from the practice squad who are currently on the active roster, Joseph Nagata, Austin Watkins Jr., Shaquan Davis, Jacob Harris, could they shock the world and outperform Paris Campbell, Johnny Wilson, and Anias Smith, even Britton Covey? This is looking like a 4 versus 4. Because I think the Eagles are going to probably take in 6 receivers to the active roster. Maybe 6. I think that's likely. We'll see. Obviously, DeVante Smith and A.J. Brown are locks. Britton Covey, return man, hasn't proven anything as a receiver. Can Anias Smith knock him off his square? Britton Covey's spot isn't safe either. So there may be 4 potential openings in this wide receiver room, not including DeVante Smith and A.J. Brown. I think Paris Campbell makes the roster, though. That's what I think. I think Paris Campbell makes the roster. I think Anias Smith has a good enough shot as much as anybody else's. King Eagle says that wide receiver 3 spot is Anias Smith's. Well, he's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to earn it. Nothing belongs to anybody. This is the NFL, meaning not for long. But I know you mean that in a boastful way, King Eagle. I know you're just trying to signify your confidence in the player. I respect it. I respect it wholeheartedly. Oh, this little guy's up. Hey. Look at my little man. Look at my doggy. And it's my man. So I think the wide receiver, I think the wide receiver 3 position is going to be really exciting to watch. But that's not the only place where the position battles are. Like I mentioned, linebacker, right? Also, the DB room. Cooper DeJean, can he beat out Avonte Maddox for the nickel spot? Does Avonte Maddox still have any cachet or equity in the building? I think not. New defensive coordinator, everybody has to fight for their spot, especially if you got cut and then they brought you back. I think they brought him back as a bit of a safety blanket. But I think they ultimately want Cooper DeJean to win that spot. Hell, maybe they want Isaiah Rodgers to prove that he can play in the nickel as well. Maybe that's what they want. We really don't know. But what we do know, in my humble opinion, I feel like this is what I know. Your starting corners are Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell. I'm willing to bank on that. I feel like Quinyon Mitchell is going to outplay James Bradbury. I think the Philadelphia Eagles want Quinyon Mitchell to be their CB2 next to Darius Slay. I think that's exactly what they want. So I think Cooper DeJean is in good. I think Cooper DeJean is in a good place. I think Cooper DeJean is in a good place because he brings so much versatility. He brings youth. He has raw athletic gifts. I think it's going to be something to behold in that DB room when it comes to the competition. Because let me make sure I got this right. Let me make sure I got this right here. when it comes to the Eagles DB room. You have Cooper DeJean, who, as of right now, they have him as the nickel receiver. They got Avonte Maddox behind him, Tyler Hall, Mario Goodrich, Sean Stephens, Seth McPherson, Eli Ricks, James Bradbury IV. A lot of competition. Kelly Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers, Josh Jobe, Mekhi Gartner. This is going to be fun. I can't wait until we start hearing word in training camp about, one-on-ones and who beat who. And I just can't wait to see these guys compete. I can't wait to see these guys compete. Rock the Artist says, "Who's your friend?" Oh, this is my little man. This is Loki, you guys. Everybody meet Loki. There we go. This is Loki, the god of mischief. This is my little man Loki. Some people say he looks like Scooby-Doo or Scrappy-Doo. King Eagle says, "I think Sean Stephens is going to challenge Rodgers for that slot cornerback. That boy is really good." Okay. I'm here for the show. I think it's going to be exciting. Besides that kid, Sean Stephens, apparently he has some pretty cool things on his resume. Anyway, Infamous says, "Better chill naming him Loki before the TVA comes and gets that variant." Dog, that is funny. That's a cool reference. That's a cool reference. I like that. Chin says, "Don't be surprised if DeJean, Ringo, and Mitchell end up your corners some point this season." Hey. Wait, Chin. Are you implying that Darius Slay may not last the entire season? Chin, clear this up for me. Are you implying Darius Slay may not make it through the whole season? Because if that's the case, Chin says, "Oh, he's going to get hurt." I mean, I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee anything, but I think Darius Slay is on his last leg. No pun intended. I think Darius Slay, this could be his last season in Philadelphia. So Quinyon Mitchell's going to take over at some point. But overall, I can't, there's no clear-cut winner at these positions. In particular with the slot. Even that other safety position, right? I know the Eagles extended Reed Blankenship another season, so he got 2 years on his contract. But I mean, I don't think Reed Blankenship is guaranteed that safety spot either. I don't think he's guaranteed that. Can City Brown bounce back and push him? That's something to watch. Who else is in that safety room? Let me see. They got Mekhi Gartner down as a safety. Tristan McCullum, Andre Sam. Okay, I mean, I think he's also competing. I don't know. Maybe he's competing with DeJean as well, but they want DeJean in the nickel. They want him on the field in that way. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. But I think right now when it comes to the safety, I put it to this way. I think this is the Philadelphia Eagles perfect scenario. I think this is what they want. I believe they want Darius Slay on the field, Quinyon Mitchell on the field, CJ Gardner-Johnson on the field, Sidney Brown on the field, and Cooper DeJean on the field. I believe they want those 5 gentlemen on the field. Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Sidney Brown, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. I think they want those 5 gentlemen on the field because Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and Sidney Brown, from an athletic standpoint, takes your DB room to an entirely different level. From a speed, strength, physicality, those 3 gentlemen take your DB room to another level. CZ says he is there for teaching purposes. Who are you talking about? You talking about Reed Blankenship? Kyle Kokorski says, Tone, I think Oren Burks and Zach Bond are the starting inside linebackers. Both of them is a stretch. Both of them is a stretch for me. I'm willing to move. I'm willing to say Zach Bond has a shot. I'm high on Zach Bond. Or let me put it to you this way. I'm intrigued by Zach Bond. I think he has a chance just as good as anybody. I just can't flat out say Oren Burks and Zach Bond are going to be the starting. I have a hard time even picturing that. Eagle Slayer says Slay can make banana pudding with his stink for all I care. Listen, man, I heard his wife makes good banana pudding, man. Relax. Nothing like some good old banana pudding, though. Nothing like it. But overall, though, just to do a quick reset, if you guys just joined the live stream, we were discussing DeVante Parker's retirement and how he ultimately decided that this game isn't what he loves anymore. And he wants to put his family first, his children first. I can't argue with that logic. Also, he's battled so much throughout his career in terms of injuries and turbulent franchises. The Miami Dolphins were turbulent while he was there. The Patriots were turbulent while he was there. The Eagles could have potentially been the most stable situation he's been in, but he decided to say, you know what? I got everything I needed out of this game. I'm willing to cash out. I'm willing to take all my chips, put the cards down, take all my money off the table, and say, you know what? I got what I came for. And that's generational wealth. And one of the reasons I respect the move so much is because he got out when he wanted to get out. He wasn't forced out. He decided to leave. And when the player decides to leave the game, being only 9 years deep, that tells me the money is looking pretty good. The money that he has nestled away is in good shape. His investments, his affairs, everything fiscally related to the capital is in order. I love seeing players retire. let me word this properly. If a player decides to retire early in his career, I'm never mad at it because that tells me they chose themselves or their quality of life over the game, which I respect. But also it tells me your money is right and your investments are in order and your booking and your books are in order. That's a part of this game that doesn't get talked about enough. Players who are literally living paycheck to paycheck. There's players in this league that make the most money. Then there's players in this league that are just looking to just get a paycheck every week. DeVante Parker said, I'm good. If you look up the math, that brother made $57 million throughout his career. It's a lot of dough. But even before his departure and even after his departure, the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver room, in particular, the wide receiver 3 spot, is going to be a hell of a competition. Because I think all those guys have something in their toolbox that makes them valuable. I think Paris Campbell has obviously the experience on his side over Johnny Wilson and Anias Smith. But he also has good hands, especially in traffic. He has good speed. He's versatile. They've used him throughout his career in various ways, jet sweeps, things of that nature in the run game. He's been an interesting player. Hasn't really ever been a dynamo. He's just been serviceable. He's just been a guy. But can he carve out a role on this Eagles offense where he maximizes his, and I mean this word to the umpteenth degree, his limited opportunities? Because when you play with A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, Paris Campbell, you're option number 5, maybe 6. You're going to have to keep yourself focused on the mission at hand. Most of the time, these guys who are in these offenses that they're probably maybe the 4th or 5th option in the pecking order, they fall asleep at the wheel. They think, oh, the ball's not going to come my way. He's going to throw it to AJ or DeVonta or Dallas Goedert or dump it off to Saquon Barkley in the backfield. Why would he throw the ball to me? Maybe because you're fucking open. So that wide receiver 3 spot, in my opinion, is more important than some people want to pretend that it isn't. That wide receiver 3 position, got to stay loose, got to stay engaged, got to stay ready so you don't got to get ready. But let me ask you guys a question. Who do you guys think is going to end up being the wide receiver 3 in week 1? I want to know what you guys think about that. Who do you guys believe will be the Eagles wide receiver 3 in week 1? As Blunt says, Paris Campbell, but I want Smith. So why not say Smith then? As Blunt says, I think Campbell because of experience, but I would like to see the rookie. Philly Eagle says, yeah, I'd like Anias. Looks like a natural playmaker. Philly Eagle says, I'm waiting till preseason to decide. Oh, don't be pussy. Don't be scared. No one's locking you into it. Just give me a guess. Just give me a guess. Philly Eagle 843. Give me a guess. Just give me a guess. Eagle Slayer says Campbell because he's a vet and his locker room presence. Locker room presence. What locker room presence? Like, is there something you know that I don't? Was he known throughout his career as a locker room guy? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny here, Eagle Slayer, but has Paris Campbell done anything or shown anything that you can share with the class that leads you to say, this player's locker room presence is going to be huge for the Eagles? I don't know anything off the cuff. Philly Eagle 843 says Campbell, I just bet he could be used in different sets. Okay. Okay, he says Campbell just best. He could be used in different sets. Got it. Yeah, if I had to guess myself, I would probably bet on Paris Campbell. I think that's who I would put my money on. But good thing I don't have to, because I think that it's wide open. But if I had to guess, I think Paris Campbell might be the guy. I think the Eagles want to tread lightly with Anias Smith, especially with the stress fracture, and how much will he be able to show, especially with the limited opportunities? When will he be fully healthy? And then Johnny Wilson, can he get a handle on the quirks in his game? Because they talk a lot about how he has bricks for hands. I got to see it to believe it. And I know some of y'all say, hey, look at the tape. Eagle Slayer says, I'm just a fan, my boy. Of course, we all are. We all are. But I'm just curious to know why say a locker room presence. Like the vet part, I understood. I understood the vet part. I guess for me, I just didn't get the locker room presence part. It's not like it's not like Paris Campbell's 33, or it's not like Paris Campbell comes in with the cachet of a Julio Jones. That's locker room presence. That's a locker room presence. Waldo Vision says, truthfully, how many targets will a wide receiver 3 get anyways? 2 or 3 per game? Might not need a huge impact player at that position. I would love, it's you guys have, not all of you, but very, very few of you have this mindset that the wide receiver 3 spot, what is he going to get? 2 or 3 targets a game? What is it? Or the Eagles don't really throw to the wide receiver 3 spot, so it doesn't matter. It matters if he's the only one open and you throw it to him on a 3rd down and he fucking drops it. I bet you it'll make an impact then. And I'm not even coming for you, Waldo Vision. This is just something that I've been wrestling with, because you're not the only person who says this. My mindset is stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. And I don't care if you got 1 catch a game. That may be the catch they need you to make. This is the NFL. The NFL is built on moments, built on moving the chains, built on key 3rd down or 4th down conversions. Obviously, your game plan is to go to DeVante Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley. But what happens when things don't go according to plan? What happens when the only person open is the wide receiver 3 spot? Do you not throw it to him because you say, we never throw the wide receiver 3, so what's the point? I could think of a few plays where Olamide Zaccheaus has some pretty key moments with the Philadelphia Eagles the Tampa Bay touchdown, I believe, in week 3. The huge touchdown in the Buffalo Bills matchup. The huge third down conversion against the Commanders. I believe that was in overtime or maybe the fourth quarter. All I'm trying to say is, sure, wide receiver 3 may not be top priority in terms of the overall impact on the game, but I just think that we got to put a little bit more credence and respect on the role, especially when we dealt with a guy that damn near dropped it every time it came to him. God forbid an injury happens to either A.J. Brown or, you know what, let me not put that into the universe. God forbid something happens that we don't want to happen. Those other guys got to step up. So, wide receiver 3, do you care about it now? Thank you, Waldo. I really appreciate you for locking in on the show, man. Thank you for teaming me up with that. I really do appreciate you. Ampian, I'm going to call you Amp. Amp says Paris Campbell starts the season, but I personally want to see a rotation of players, maybe with different skill sets. I believe in using everyone on the roster. I want to see 3rd, 4th, and 5th wide receivers, 3rd running back, 3rd. Okay, so I ain't mad at that, man. I get it. Obviously, there's a pecking order for everything, but I get it. Your mindset is maximize the roster. Your mindset is throw it to the open guy. I don't care what you make. And that's my mindset too. I don't care what a player makes. I'm throwing to the open guy. Now, granted, A.J. Brown is always open. And DeVonta Smith, the Slim Reaper, he catches you in your nightmares, always catching you sleeping. So those guys are typically always open. But it's going to be moments where A.J. Brown gets clamped. It's going to be a moment. It's going to be a moment where DeVonta Smith maybe can't. It's going to be a moment. So you got to get you have to get this entire roster, especially on, no, not especially. You have to get this entire roster, no matter where they are on the depth chart, as confident as you possibly can. You have to get everybody rowing in the same direction as quickly as you can. Anything can happen in the NFL season. Everybody has to play with confidence and believe that they can do it and believe that they are a part of this thing and not just along for the ride. That's just my mindset, though. I have a different expectation. So I kind of agree with Amp here. Eagle Slayer says, I got to say, bro, Smitty made me a fan solely from his heart and desire in that Tampa loss. I was already a fan to begin with, but nonetheless, my young boy is cold. Yeah, man, Smitty came to play in that game. Big facts, Eagle Slayer. S. Blunt says, we are forgetting this is not Nick's offense. We may use running back and wide receiver 3 in the scheme. Exactly. Thank you, S. Blunt. Thank you. Exactly. We have no idea. We've spoken about how the Eagles don't throw to wide receiver 3, or what's the point, right? This is a new offensive coordinator with damn near a new offense. We have no idea what he's going to maximize. But I'm willing to roll with S. Blunt on that. Nico and Stephen Scher, Crow Killer Scher. He says, kiddo, I'm showing my age here. Well, yeah, you called me kiddo. But he says, kiddo, I'm showing my age here. But when we needed that almighty play, it was Gabriel to Carmichael or Jaws to him. We need that player when it counts. You're very right. Hey, man, you were OG in the game. I could just tell by the way you broke this down. You were OG. And I appreciate you for showing love. You're right. There's going to be moments where you need players who are your unsung heroes. The players that you probably didn't think anything about, but then they come to play and they catch that key first down conversion or third down conversion. They catch that key fourth down conversion. You gotta believe that everybody is a part of this thing. You can't just assume that AJ Brown and DeVante Smith are just going to just be open all the time. You got to think bigger picture. And I want the Philadelphia Eagles to get more out of this offense. I really do. And I can't wait to see it. But we're going to call it a show. And I really appreciate you guys for locking in for as long as you guys did. We've been live for almost an hour and some change, an hour and a half almost. And I definitely don't take the support. Excuse me. I definitely don't take the support for granted. You guys have been tremendous. You guys have been awesome. You know, the off season will always be something to behold because there's so many storylines, so many narratives, the position battles, players retiring, players getting cut, players being traded or signed. There, obviously, the draft just ended. Your player development. There's so much that goes into the off season that's really exciting, and I'm so glad to be a part of this journey with you guys. So make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys continue to stay engaged. Comment below. Make sure you guys retweet and share and hit that heart button on X. I really appreciate my X family. I appreciate my YouTube family. Like I said, make sure you guys smash the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. I have been your humble and ever so gracious host, Tone DeShields II. And you guys have been locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the gang.